Hi, my name is Cindy, and if you've been here before, so glad you came back. If you're new, welcome to Z9 Designs. Keep watching and be sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell to see some Christmas ideas. In addition, please like, save, and comment. It really helps my channel to grow. So let's check out my Christmas Palooza ideas that I have for you today. DIY number 1, acorn. The supplies needed include an Easter egg, white and taupe chalk paint, greenery and berries, jute, pine cone scales, and hot glue. Now, I made a larger acorn last year using small plastic cups from Dollar Tree. This year, I thought I would make a smaller one using a different color cording, and instead of plastic cups, I use an Easter egg. So this is a beautiful DIY using a plastic Easter egg. I painted the egg a taupe color so it would, kind of blend in with the same color as the jute. And the jute was wrapped in a circular fashion until I got halfway to the top. And as I went along, I just put a little dab of hot glue and just kept going around and around. Then the scales were removed from the pine cones and applied to the top of the egg. So I just glued the scales one by one and side by side until I got near the top of the egg. I found a top of a pine cone that would fit perfectly on top of the egg. And so I took some hot glue and glued that to the top of the egg to kind of give it some uniformity and kind of the look of an acorn. Then I took some greenery and I had some red berries and I just hot glued them to the top of the acorn. And then I took some of the jute that was on the bottom and just tied a little bow and just hot glued it to the top. Then it was time to embellish it. So white acrylic paint was dabbed on top of the acorn, to kind of look like snow, and on the sides of the jute. Now you can make several of these and it would make a really nice bowl filler, or you can just display it on your coffee table or on your entry table. And this can go either way. It can give your home a nice fall or a Christmas vibe. So let me know what you think of this one. I think it's pretty. And I have my acorn that I made last year to kind of see the comparison. And you can look back at a previous DIY to see how I made that particular acorn, because it was just slightly different. DIY number 2, a star ornament. The supplies needed include a ceramic star and Christmas rub-on. That is it. This is so simple. And I got this ceramic star. It was on sale at Michael's. So a variety of Christmas ornaments is something that I always have loved to have on my tree. And so I purchased this some time ago and I found it in my stash because I had it there for a while. I decoupaged a Christmas motif from a napkin, but I did not like it, so I just washed it off and dried it and just started over for a clean slate. I had a beautiful Christmas wreath with a black and white bow. And I just checked it to make sure it would fit because the star wasn't really huge and it looked great. And I rubbed on the star and there's no going back to decoupage on this ornament. And I just put a jute string for a hanger, but any kind of bowl would look great on the star. Hang this on your Christmas tree and just enjoy the traditional look. This is what you can do for a little bit of money. DIY number 3, a Tart bell ornament. The supplies needed include a Tart tin, and I had those on hand. I ordered them from Amazon about a year or so ago. Some beads. I have plenty of beads in my stash. Buttons. I have buttons in my stash, so I didn't really have to buy anything. Some wire, and I looked in my stash. I found a piece of wire and a bell. And this was also in my stash because they're from Dollar Tree and they're very cheap. You can get like several of them in a packet. Now, this inspiration came from Pinterest. This is a unique Christmas ornament, and since I had the supplies on hand, I decided to go with it and make it the very best that I could do. So first I had to punch an opening in the middle of the tin. Now, I have to say, I kind of messed up a couple before I got it right, but this can be done with a hammer and nail, and that's the way I did it. And now, if you have a big enough punch, that would be good too, but I didn't. So I just threaded some wire through the opening, and you have to do this to make sure that it would fit, and I just made a loop. So next what I did was I threaded a large pink bead up to the loop, and this was followed by a smaller glam bead. Then it was button time. I used 3 smaller buttons, four medium-sized buttons, and 1 large button. And like I say, these were all in my stash. I did not go out and purchase anything. So, that just goes to show you, you have things around your home that you can find to make this, or you can repurpose some things. I do a lot of repurposing, but the things I really, really like, I keep. Then wire was threaded through the tin with all of the beads and buttons on it. Once it went through the opening, a tiny bell was twisted around the wire until the bell could move freely and ring. Ring that bell. This is a great addition to a rustic or traditional Christmas. Now let me know what you think about this one. A little bit unusual looking, but I think it's really cool and would look good on any Christmas tree. So DIY number 4, a felt Christmas tree. So you need some felt, and I use green and beige, and I just use 2 pieces of each of the colors, but not finishing all 2, so kind of like maybe 1.5. I had a pattern, and the pattern was free on the internet. I don't know where it came from, but you can find plenty of them free on the internet. Wooden spools, and I had 2 different kinds. Embroidery thread and a needle, hot glue, and scissors. I think these felt trees are so adorable that I had to make 2. I got a free pattern, like I said before, from the internet a couple years ago, but just now used it. And I don't know what site I got it from. Anyway, this is what I cut from top to bottom. 2 squares, 1/2 inch for the top, 6 squares, 1/2 inch, 6 squares, 3/4 inch, 6 squares 1 inch, 6 squares 1 1/4 inches, 6 squares 1 1/2 inches, 6 squares 1 3/4 inches, 6 squares 2 inches, and 4 squares 1 3/4 inches. And that is what you need. These trees can be made in a variety of colors, but I chose to make 2 trees and I made them into 2 different colors. So one was green and the other, a lot of people like something neutral, so I made the other one neutral. Some people don't like a whole lot of color. I don't mind. I used a pattern to cut out the felt with scissors. Now, of course, you can use a rotary cutter if you would like to. And then I threaded up a large needle with embroidery thread, and I took the 2-inch squares and threaded it in the middle. And I did all of that until I got to the very small 1/2 inch at the top. Now, I did not worry about if all the squares were pointing in one area at this time, because you can fix that later. And later, what you will do is you will kind of alternate the squares so that it's not all uniform. You don't want it that way. You want it to look like a Christmas tree. And a Christmas tree is smaller at the top and gets wider at the bottom. When you finish with the 1/2 inch squares, you're basically done. And you have thread at the top, which you can use for your loop if you're going to hang it on your Christmas tree. Now, I didn't do that. The other thing I didn't do, I didn't put a star on top, but I put a little square shape that was on top that I hot glued on top of the tree. But you can put a star if you like. Also, I did not use felt to make a trunk because there are so many other things that you can use to make a trunk. So I used a wooden thread spool and I hot glued the green tree to one, and then I had one that was taller and more narrow, and I just hot glued that to the other tree. These are so cute, and you can put them on a shelf, you can put them on top of books, a mantle, and any place in your home. I think this is so fabulous. If you try it sometimes, just say, hey, I saw it at Z9 Designs. I would love to see, especially to see what you make. So if you have liked what you've seen, please subscribe, like, save, and comment. And crafting is very satisfying, but also challenging. So encouraging words are always appreciated. Also, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Facebook. And thanks for watching each week. I appreciate all of your comments. And today, the quote is, I know you are joyful because it is your birthday. You awakened this morning to celebrate a fantastic day. So I'm giving a shout out to all my crafters that have been in the collaboration. Happy birthday. And I hope you have many more. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.